Hello Pioneers, in the last episode of our MEGAFACTORY build series, we processed aluminum scrap into ingots, sheets and casings using a brand new assembler tower design. This episode, it's time to bring petroleum production online. We'll produce rubber and plastic using the standard recipes while converting all the heavy oil residue into petroleum coke, setting up for a future diamond supply. We go for a completely open style factory, fenced off with a brand new fence that we designed. Can we create a clean and efficient production pipeline? Let's find out. With aluminum online, we can continue our journey of trying to make power shards. So we were up to here, we've got our time crystals. What were we trying to make? I guess dark matter crystals, is that why I needed aluminum? Oh, no, that's right, now I remember. So to make this power shard, we're gonna need, I think, dark matter crystals. And to make dark matter crystals, we need this stuff, dark matter residue, right? And to make dark matter residue directly is kind of a pain. So we were thinking of doing the other item for our alien power matrix first. Is that right? Yeah, because if we just want to make dark matter residue directly, we need to get more SAM and turn it into dark matter residue. But since we need these superposition oscillators anyway, and they produce quite a lot of dark matter residue, we were thinking maybe we make these first. And to make these, we needed sheets, and we need dark matter crystals, and we need oscillators. So I think oscillators is probably going to be our next port of call, and we can figure out which is the best way to make oscillators. This one makes 1 per minute. This one makes 1.8 per minute. So I'm definitely tempted to go with this new recipe, because remember last time we tried to make oscillators? Oh man, the oscillator, we need a lot of oscillators in our base, right? We need like 10 oscillators per minute or something crazy like that. We might even dedicate just an entire quartz belt to making oscillators. But to make these oscillators, we need rubber and AI limiters. So I suppose it'll be a good time now to set up our plastic and rubber factory next. That will be our last component to complete off all our basic resources, and then we can focus on turning them all into stuff. Now we have a crude oil thing over here. Now let's go assess our crude oil thing down there. I believe we're using one of them to make these diamonds. A pure node. So we have another pure node and a regular node. Is a regular node enough to make rubber? Let's have a look. How many rubber recipes do we have? We have a few different rubber recipes. We can make residual rubber out of fuel stuff. Okay, that's cool. We could probably use the fuel factory over there because we've got our fuel factory over there making something. And then we can make direct rubber. Alternatively, we can turn plastic into rubber, which seems kind of crazy. Or is it? Plastic and fuel into rubber. Ooh, interesting. I need to do some maths on this one, because is it then better to turn plastic into rubber? Because we turn 30 plastic into 60 rubber. All right, let me do the maths and then I'll come back and talk about it. Yeah, okay, I was looking at the maths and it got a little bit complicated, but I'm pretty sure just as a rough estimate, this isn't gonna be positive on crude oil. Otherwise, if you think about it, you're going to be able to make infinite plastic and rubber, because there's a plastic recipe that turns rubber and fuel into plastic, and a rubber recipe that turns plastic and fuel into rubber. So, I don't know. Is that the better way to do it? So I believe the intended way to do this, let me just grab my notepad, is here. So regularly, we turn this into plus 10 heavy oil residue. So this is your standard recipe. You just turn 30 crude oil into 20 rubber and 10 heavy oil residue. Then with that heavy oil residue, we can just get rid of it. But I don't know what to do with this. We can turn it into fuel and then we just have more fuel, I guess. It's weird. But then with this other recipe, it's slightly more efficient, but the process is infinitely more complicated. So we can turn 30 crude oil into 20 plastic instead, plus 10 heavy oil residue. And then we can turn that plastic plus the fuel into rubber. To get the fuel itself, we can just turn this heavy oil residue with some water back into the fuel to fuel itself. That way you can turn the same amount of crude oil into slightly more rubber, or double the amount of rubber. So I think that's probably the best way to do it, and it also gets rid of the heavy oil residue. Let's ask ourselves what we can do with the heavy oil residue otherwise. We can turn it into fuel, but then what? Does it tell me what it's used in? Okay, otherwise we can turn it into petroleum coke and then make diamonds out of it, which is probably the better thing to do. Otherwise we can make fuel. And why do I want to make fuel? I don't know. Otherwise we can make turbo fuel by combining it with compacted coal, which also doesn't seem to be too useful to me right now. I think we'll go with the standard recipe just because it is so much easier. It's just a bunch of refineries. And then with the heavy oil residue, we can turn that into some petroleum coke. It's at a 3 times multiple level, and then we can turn the petroleum coke into some diamonds because we need some diamonds anyway. Once we set up our plastic and our rubber, then we should be getting plenty of petroleum coke. Let's see at what volume we can do this. So I know there's another pure node down here that we're not tapping. Maybe that will be a start, like 2 pure nodes. And then there's like a normal node over here, right? But the normal node we're using for something. Is this a normal node or another pure node? Okay, so there's 2 normal nodes down here, one of which we're using to make fuel. And this pure node is currently being used to make diamond. So we probably need to go out into the world and collect ourselves a new source of crude oil. Let's go ahead and do that. See where crude oil is relative to us. Okay, there's a crude oil normal and impure fracking site right next to us. So we can probably go grab that. And then there's no more crude oil except all the way out here. And that's all impure and normal. There's just not much crude oil around here except for this site. Let's drop a fracking site down here and see how much crude oil that we can extract. There's also plenty of radiation up there, but that's fine. Alright, so from this resource well pressurizer with some overclocking, we seem to be able to extract 1200 cubic meters of crude oil per minute and change if we wanted to. So let's see how we can make that into 2 pipelines. So they're all very, very awkward amounts of crude oil. 133, 133, 133. Alright. The maths here is going to be a little bit complicated, so I'm going to work it out. Basically, we've got, hey, we're missing a node. Or maybe it's going to be less complicated with an even amount of nodes. Let me just get that one. Hopefully, there's an even distribution of nodes I can connect together. Haven't done fracking for a while. Ah, there we go. So we've got 133, 133, 200, 200. Let me paint these. That'll probably be the best way to do it. Let's get a color on them. Give it some like bright, obnoxious pink color. So that's the 261s I'm gonna paint pink. Ah, damn, that's what I was afraid of. There's 3 of each. Yeah, there's 3 of each. So that's gonna be a little bit annoying. So I think the way we do this is we just max overclock it. Like, how much extra power is that really using? That way all of them can produce a nice and round and even number, I guess. Hello? Trying really hard. What does that mean? I can just flush this system. No, there's got to be an easy way to connect these. How do I ensure an even flow out of this and then split it into 2 pipes perfectly every time? I feel like I can't. Let's just get some of these connected and then we'll see. Get that one coming out this way, and we'll connect each one to a one of these. So we'll connect one big one to one small one. Trying to get these pipes as clean as possible. It's a bit of a mission. Don't think I need this. And just directly connect that. That's a straight line. Alright. We'll connect one big one to one small one. This one is going to go through the machine a little bit. These 2 can connect, and then this one, I don't know how I'm going to get that through. Well, we're just going to have to cross somewhere. Should be able to connect it something like this. There we go. It's a little bit tilted, but that's fine. And then this final one should be pretty easy to connect. You'd think I could just do this, but no. Maybe if I just bring this pipe out somewhere close and nope, that's not a thing. Pipes are always fun in this game. At some point they're going to introduce 90-degree angle pipes and then everything's going to be sweet. But at the moment, they're a little bit of a pain. To the halfway point, we go back 1, 2, and that's where we want it. It's still not straight, is it? What is going on with this pipe? I need to make it straight for my OCD purposes. So from the center line, 1, 2. That should be perfectly straight. There we go. Alright, good. So I've got each one of these big ones hooked up to a small one now. So each one of these gives 450. So I can get 3 belts of 450 out, which is not the best. let's bring this back down to no. All right, to be safe, to be extra safe. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna split one of these pipes out into these other two pipes. That way it should give perfect flow, or half in each one. All right, that's fine. So before we do that, let's set up our train station that's going to be transporting this back to base. Or do we even need a train station? Because where are we going to build our factory for rubber? Is it just going to be straight on the other side of this road? In which case, let's just pump it straight into the factory. I feel like we just go straight on this road, right? That seems like a decent sized block. From here to here is going to be our plastic rubber factory. Anyone got any objections to that? Speak up now or forever hold your peace, because yeah, I think that's the way we're going to go with it. Saves us a whole train line. So let's get some floor in. So the easiest split of this is just simply going to be one full pipeline for plastic, one full pipeline for rubber. I know that's not going to get us a tremendous amount of plastic or rubber, but we can figure something out. Let me do some maths. Alright, this build is going to be somewhat massive. We're going to use standard recipes. So 20 refineries is going to turn 600 crude oil into 400 rubber. 20 refineries is going to turn 600 crude oil into 400 plastic. We get a total of 800 heavy oil residue byproduct out. And that byproduct can be turned into petroleum coke. Petroleum coke can then be turned in 3 particle accelerators into 100 diamond. So that's the factory that we're going to build. So we can use our refinery blueprint to measure out roughly how much factory space we need. Oh, this tree is just in the way of my wall, so unfortunately you're gonna have to go. So we can build, given that we need 10 refineries to process each one, we can sort of build the refineries that process away the heavy oil residue either into a third factory, or we can do it as a second factory. I'm thinking we do it part of the factory, as in we build our 20 refineries and then we build another 10 refineries to process away the heavy oil residue byproduct. We just added in some more foundation and the road on that side, so we can roughly sketch out where we want our factory to go. Now I can see that over here we have another rock in our way, so this looks like the end of our factory. We might want to, how do we end this around that rock? Well, we've got the train line here. There's nothing that's going to go here. And that's definitely going through the rock. Yep. So we're probably just having a dead end here, and this rock is just going to be another feature in our factory, I guess. So I'm just trying to see where we can end and begin this factory. So 2x2 is standard, so that's the starting corner of the factory. Then let's see how 20 refineries looks. So here's 8 refineries. Now the input output for this thing is a little bit different. So this thing has 2 outputs, so I don't even think I can actually use this, right? Because yeah, they don't really line up properly. So it's too close, so I can't use my blueprint. All right, in that case, we're gonna have to just design this from scratch. So let's start sketching in the minimum and maximum refinery. Now, if we want to do it, we'd probably do it the opposite way around, where the output is then merged, because then we can at least have a singular input, which makes it a little bit simpler, right? Because the input is just crude oil. So if we were to start our refinery, say right here with the minimum amount of space, let's see how that looks. There's 5, and that's 10. And then the input is just a singular crude oil pipeline. So we can actually just have these really tight together, right? How would that work though? Let me just do one and see what that pipeline might look like. Yeah, we need a little bit of space. So I think 1 tile of space should be enough, and then I can elevate the pipeline and then bring it underneath, I think is probably the best way to do that. Or I can just do a junction in the middle and split. Yeah, that should be fine. And then we can bring it as a single pipeline under the subfloor. So we don't need too much space, just enough for a junction. So we'll do an even amount on this side. I think I did the refinery sort of on the edge here, like this. So I'm not going to put all 10 in. I'm just going to put that one and this one. So like that, that's our next 10 refineries. Now, can we fit another 10 refineries on this side? Given we need at least one tile of space to manage output for this one and one tile of space to manage output for this one. So we'll do something like this. And then the input can do a similar thing like this. Sorry, that's not quite right. Got to measure it properly like this. So that's our other 10 refineries. We'll end it over here as well. So it's against this line, something like this. And then one over here facing the other way, something like this. Roughly, it's that line. So then my wall ends here, which is fine because, you know, this can just be sealed off. There's just a rock over here. We don't really care about the rock. Okay, so that can be my factory. And then we can put some extra tiling along the side. There's no real space between these two factories though. So this will probably just be one big factory. And then we need to get the output into another 20 refineries. Let's see if 10 refineries fits along here. So this one is going to be taking the heavy oil residue. It's like one input, one output. In that case, I can use my blueprint. And that's 8, 10, 12. So we're going to delete 2 off each side. If this is the center line of my factory, then the center line of my refineries goes roughly around here. Leaving 1, 2 space for the wall here. So probably try to shift it a little bit that way. And then do we have enough for a wall here? Pretty much. So something like this. And then we put that one in line. Like this. And then one more in line over here. Like this. And then we pretty much delete off the ends. Because we don't need 12. We only need 10, right? 10 on each side. That's the 20. So something like get rid of that one and that one. Get rid of that. And then we get rid of these two as well. That's pretty much our factory for plastic and rubber. So plastic is here, rubber is here, and then the waste product is done over here. So what we want to do now is house this whole setup. They can kind of share a wall. I feel like it's going to be a very boring looking building. But what we can do with this is I want to make it an open style factory. Now there's a couple of reasons for this. One, I'm not convinced this is enough plastic and rubber for our mega factory. So we might need to build another layer of this on top of itself one day. So given that knowledge, we should probably figure out how to do this as an open style factory. So let me seal off the end on this side too. So this row is for output dealing with, and then the minimum we can seal it off is around here. Ideally, we'd do it on here. How much space do we have here? No, we'll make it even. Something like this is the wall. And then over here. Over here, we need one tile of space, so we will center it around here. And then we'll center it around here. Is that even? Yep, that's pretty much even. I think that looks pretty okay in terms of spacing. Yep, that should be fine. So this is basically our build, plastic rubber byproduct. Then we need to figure out how to seal this off with a roof. And the roof may potentially in future be another level of factory. Now the main feature point of this is probably going to be pillars. So let's figure out how tall our pillars are going to be, and then we can start building something that we can blueprint. Because we're going to have to build a lot of pillars to make this look nice, right? It'll be kind of the style that we did our power generators, our fuel generators in. Just trying to figure out if that clears the chimneys, because I don't want the chimneys being clipped by the floor. So that clears the chimneys. So how many tiles high is that? That's 10. Perfect. Nice round number. I like that. Let's get a blueprint designer over here. And then let's start designing a cool looking pillar. Now our pillar has to be constrained to one of these tiles, right? So we can do square pillars, obviously. Or we can do round pillars. We can give that a go. How would we do a round pillar, you might be asking? Well, we have these corner pipe things. Let's play around with these quarter pipes. They take up a full square, but what if we offset them into the center? I mean, it makes a pretty cool pillar, I think. You do something like that. Then we've got a conveniently corner extension thing we can put on top of this. It hates it. Why? That's so weird. I have to like put in the corner extension down here first, like an extra one. That's fine. Let's zoom that up vertically. 8. And then can I put an inverted one on top, or does that just hate that? It seems like it hates it, but I think I can shift it into place. Yeah, that seems to be fine. Okay, oops, in place. Can I get rid of this bit now? I don't want extra objects in my thing for no reason. Let's zoom that up. I did one too many. I think... Is this 10 including the floor? Yeah, I think I only want this to be 9 up. So let's get rid of one layer. Otherwise it's a bit too tall. Not that it matters really, but if we can get it shorter, we'll get it shorter. We'll get an inverted corner here again, if it lets me snap anywhere here. Shift that into place as a snapping point, and then we should be able to snap some stuff to it. And then this can be our pillar base, right? And then we can build foundations on top of this. That's a pretty cool looking pillar. It's nice and fat, and it looks very stable. Now we need some maybe decoration on top of it. Let's start by painting it black. We'll use our standard chrome finish. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. What would be really nice is if I can wrap rings of light around it, but I don't think that's possible. Let's try. So we use like a 4-meter sign here. I mean, we can do it vertically, which is fine, but horizontally, probably it will stick out a little bit. I mean, it's not terrible. It's got a little bit of a thing as well. Why does it come with a little thing? It doesn't like being on here. Okay. Definitely can't snap these signs to it. What about other signs? Not really. Okay, the circular thing really lacks the ability to snap any sort of signs on. What about other forms of decoration that aren't signs? Let's try beams. We can do beams on here, I think. Yep, we can force beams on here. What about diagonal beams? If we can do beams, that means we can probably do signs. If we do like free-form beams, can't do full diagonal, but if we go here and then say here, and then to these halfway points, oh, this is going to be super annoying and difficult to build. But we can do these beams, and then once we have beams, then can we do signs? Yes, kind of. 3-meter signs work perfectly on these. I'm guessing the 4-meter sign is too much, right? If only I could half snap it into here, but I can't. I think the 4-meter sign sticks out a little bit, but the 3-meter sign should be perfect. Almost perfect. I don't mind doing this once, if it looks nice. Can I copy the stuff from this sign onto the 3-meter sign though? Nope, the 3-meter sign needs to be configured from scratch. So we'll get that to be main purple, get that to be main purple, and then get rid of the icon. There we go, purple light. We'll get that to be emissive and glossy. Give it nice and bright beams. That looks pretty cool. I think that's better than just a plain black thing. Gives it a little bit more interesting texture. A bit annoying to build, so we won't do too many rings on each pillar, but I think this is going to be the pillar that we go with. I'm going to quickly put the rest of these rings on. Decided to do the rings a little bit asymmetrically to make it look a little bit more interesting. I think that looks pretty cool. What do we think of that? Now, can we do something else? We can probably go from like here and go up. Why is it tilted? We'll go from any random point all the way down. Let's try this. Give it a little bit more dimension like that. If we did something like this, maybe we can get some more signs over here. Can certainly try. This one's hard to shift. Guess it would just have to look like that. Then we'll get some 4-meter signs and we'll take it all the way up to the top, shall we? Does that look nice? That makes this pillar look pretty crazy. I was thinking instead of bright beams, we can do the pattern over here. So if we make the icon nothing, then we set the text to dots, whatever. Then, oh, we actually want a background. So let's do one with a background. Oh, can you do backgrounds on this? That one's just text. Can you not do backgrounds on the little ones? That's weird. There's a background, right? Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so you can't do just background. So if I do this, it will just be light beams. But is having a light beam down the center a good idea? Does that add to it, or is it just a little bit too much? Maybe not. I don't really like the central one. Alright, what else can we add to this that kind of makes it look cool? I think we'll just keep it simple and just do pillars like this. I think this already looks pretty interesting. What do you guys think? We'll save this pillar as this thing, and then we'll set the directory somewhere in our construction area. Let's put it under essentials, I guess. And we'll go test it out. We'll get rid of this. And theoretically, if I can go 2, here and I put a pillar there, very hard to see where the center of this pillar is. So I should center it based on this and this line. I believe that is where the center pillar goes. Boom, there we go. That looks like a pretty cool pillar when it's in practice. Let's try putting the pillars on each of these corners. So this one's gonna half hang off the edge, but essentially it's gonna be here. So we center it along that one. We basically want the 4 squares over here being where the end is. Should be a half tile of space in here. Yep. Like that. And then that should be in the halfway point of where I want. I believe that's where I want it. I'm just gonna put some more foundation on this side. Now clear out these radiation rocks at some point in my life. There we go. Now there should be a pillar here and then out here. And then potentially a pillar right in the middle over here. Alright, so given that these are the pillars, where should we put the edge of the factory? We need to denote them by coloring the factory a different style. Should we use fix-it foundations for this? Probably. Let's try fix-it foundations. Do they go well with these pillars? I guess. Then how do we create the roof? Because the roof is going to be another 1-day layer of factory, right? So let's try to seal up this to this edge. I think 1 meter foundation just looks a little bit sketchy, so we might just do it on 4 meter foundation. Now, the easiest thing to do is just do regular 4 meter foundations, right? So something like this, and then it would come out. Oh, wait. Now we're offset on the wrong tiles. Sorry. To line it with the bottom, our center tile is actually here. So it will be a square tiling like this. Ready for a second level of refineries one day. I know it's going to look a little bit weird for now, but trust me, one day this is all going to make sense. We might leave the factory roof open for now, but yeah, I think that looks pretty decent. I think with the thicker wall, it looks okay. So we might get this over here as well. Where is our center point? So it's 14. And there's our 7. Our center point is like right here. So we want a pillar like right on this X. Like right here, but in line with this. So to get it in line, the center needs to be here. And then the center of this needs to be on this pillar. Fantastic. All right. Let me paint the entire floor in now, and then we'll get the rest of the pillars in on the other side as well. And then we'll see how that looks. Silly me, forgot to hit the record button for the last 30 minutes, but that's fine. I'll go through what's happened. So I've got all the pillars in. We decided to go with this asymmetrical pillar. We can't really fit any more pillars in between here because it might get in the way of the machines. I've filled in all of the machines. So we've got our 20 refineries for rubber and our 20 refineries for plastic. Then we went downstairs and we started hooking this stuff up. So we connected a valve over this side to split this into 2. So there's a junction over here, some valves telling it to flow into this direction. Then when it comes here, there's valves telling it to come out here and split in half to merge with these. Remember, we're merging one of these crappy crude oil 150 with this 300 crude oil into one pipe. Then we're supplementing it with a third one that's split in half to get hopefully our full 600 crude oil pipe per minute. Doing the same thing on the other side, bringing those 2 crude oil pipelines over to this side. Then we've powered it all up and we got a pump that sends it up. So after we connected all our machines, we set up our pipes in the middle. Now the pipes just use a junction and split all the oil that's coming in through here. Then we used a little water tower over here to ensure that we've got maximum flow rate all the time. We've tested this proof of concept out on the rubber side, and it seems to be producing rubber perfectly fine. And now we just need to get this power thing over to the other side. So we're going to do that. We'll do that together since you didn't see me do it last time, but basically it's the same thing we've done a million times now. There's nothing special about this refinery factory, so you didn't miss out on much. We didn't do any fancy design stuff in here. It was just setting up all these machines to work, basically. 10 meters up, painted beam, and then connect the beams. After connecting the beams, we just bring this power onto the beam. They should be right in the center of each refinery, so they're reasonably easy to place. Then we do the same thing on the other side. Now we do one more on the edge to connect the 2 things. Is that even long enough to connect? Oh yeah. It'll go through the machines a little bit, but I don't really care about that. And then we just connect the power through the beams. I'll talk about how I connected the power in a second. Alright, all of that is connected now, so all of these should have power. I've connected the pump down the bottom, so we can see that they're all starting to make plastic now. It all works. So I've decided to use power towers because I think they look kind of cool. So I've just connected my power source into the power tower, and then the power tower is transmitting across to this section of the factory, and then we're transmitting the power down here. I think we should use power towers more to cross our roads because this crossing over here looks a lot better with a power tower than I guess with a regular thing. So for example, I could do another power tower here, and I can cross it there to get the power into this factory. On the roof, we haven't fully filled it in, but we've left enough room for another level of factory, I guess, one day when we need more plastic and rubber inevitably, because we're not producing really that much plastic or that much rubber out of this factory system. So we've done the inputs now and it's all working. It's plastic and rubber, guys. It's nothing fancy. Now let's do the actual outputs. So I think we should do the pipes properly this time because we've always set up these pipes in a way that intersects the belts. So this time I'm going to put in the belts first. So we know the lifts go like this. And then we can set up the pipes accordingly because we've always set it up wrongly, which is not good. We've always set it up in a way that it clips. Technically, if these line up, we could connect the residue over here between these 2 machines. Oh, that is super complicated. But then we've got to make sure the plastic and rubber always flows. Or should we make it independent? Oh, that's such a good question. Yeah, that is an actual real interesting concept. All right, I'm going to keep putting lifts in on the other side as well. And then we'll go from there. Alright, all my lifts are in, so I'm going to do the junctions now. And I think I'm going to stick with my idea of doing the junctions together. Because all of these produce 400, like each row produces 200, right? So 400 can fit in a pipe. So where we can do simplicity, we'll do simplicity. Sorry, that was a horrible English sentence. Where we can simplify it, we will simplify it. Where we can do simplicity. Yeah. Data analyst here. All right, let's join these pipes. And there is our heavy residual oil line. Now we need heavy residual oil lines over on these sides. So I'm going to do these ones. We're going to clear this thing, give it a bit of room. Oh, we can't. We got to like work around these pillars. We'll do junctions on the other side as well. We got to do it as close as possible, right? And where it doesn't clip. Let me just do 2 here and then see if that doesn't clip. Yeah, it just barely doesn't clip. That's fine. I'm happy with that. That's in. Let's get the pipes in. All right, that's the pipes on this side in. Let's go do the same thing on the other side. All right, now let's figure out how to direct these into here. So the input for all of these are facing together, and the output, see, this is the other thing. The output for this is in such huge quantities that I don't even know if this manifold is gonna work, but we'll work around the problem. So this pipeline can actually just feed these 10. I think is probably the easiest way to do that. So let's get some pipelines in. We can do it really close. So this pipeline can literally just come over here and feed all of these. Oh, I wish there was one centered one that I can just use, but that's a little bit annoying. We can just get it over here and then just get it turned like that. And then we'll connect them all into the machines. All right, that's the first half of the heavy oil dealt with. Now we need to bring this heavy oil over to the other side. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll get it as close as possible. So we'll do 5 there and then we'll do 5 here. So let's do this side first. So we got 5 here. And if it doesn't look good above ground, we can always do it underground. But essentially we want to turn this pipe like this and clear this side as much as we can. We'll do it on this line, I guess. This line looks clear to me. Bring it out this way, bring it over here somewhere, and then connect that to that. 1, 2, and then around the corner there. That should give us straight thing. Why is this up, you silly thing? 1, 2, and around. There we go. That gives us a perfect 90-degree turn. That deals with that one. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Oh wait, we should probably connect these first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is superfluous. Should just do it out this way. And we'll do something similar on the other side. So we'll connect it. And we'll take it around this side. And this line clears it, so we'll just turn it here. Then we'll just bring it in a straight line all the way to this side. And then we'll work around this pillar and connect it. Just like that. That's looking good. Alright, let's get power to these machines and see how that works out. This power pillar goes all the way out here, which actually works to our advantage. Or we can end it here, like that. Get rid of some of this extra stuff. So this is all connected already. Let me see which parts of this isn't connected, because they're parts of different blueprints. So we're going to hook that up. Got to bring the power bar down here as well, so we'll do the same thing. So around here somewhere, we'll just bring it up arbitrarily. I don't know how many meters this goes up, but looks like around here. Nope, that's too high. That's perfect. And bring that back down. Nice. Don't forget our beam connectors to make everything look nice and polished. Get rid of that and that. And we should be good for power. Now we need to bring the power from here to here. So how do we do that cleanly? Trusty old power poles. Something like this. And that should line up to something around there. And then that can go up here. And that can connect there. I think that looks fine. Now we've got power to these machines and they are now producing petroleum coke. So to keep this entire system running, we need to start sinking some of this. So let's get the rubber and the plastic out. Now, I think we're going to use this area as the transport for this. So we'll do all the sinking over on this side. To do that, should we use an above ground or an underground belt? We can use an above ground belt. We could just bring it over the road and bring it over here somewhere into a parking lot. Or we can do our sinking right here. What should we do? Let me think about this. Let me just clear this area over here and then let's try to convert it into a parking lot to see how that might look. Get rid of our big blueprint designer. And then we will turn this into a parking lot. We've got to draw in some asphalt. It's going to be a pretty small parking lot. We'll go up to this rock. It's actually pretty big. I don't know where the entrance is going to be, but I suppose we're going to start with a couple of things over here. So I'm just going to surround this thing with barrier. Not sure where the entrances and exits of the parking lot are going to be yet. That looks okay. Now that we have our parking lot, we can start setting up the disposal that we need. If we're going to bring the sinks over here and the storage over here, then we can set that up accordingly. So here's my center line. Let's get an industrial storage going first. We'll leave some room for, is that the center? We'll leave some room for splitters and smart splitters and such. So we'll probably need a smart splitter going in here. Probably need a little bit more room, don't we? Get it going there. So we need a smart splitter going into this. I know I did this underground last time, but we might just do this out in the open. Get some more sort of non-building architecture out in the open. So we'll get the main flow into here, and then the overflow will come out to the left and right into some sinks. So let's get some sinks in. That'll keep the plastic and the rubber flowing, because we need the rubber and plastic constantly flowing, right? So we'll get some belts into there, and then I suppose wherever it comes out of, it'll come out of the subfloor here and make its way into here. There we go. That looks good. Now, technically, we need dimensional storage for this stuff, so we're going to put that in if we weren't using infinite building materials. So it'll be something like that. We're going to play as though we need building materials, because that's how you guys would play it if you weren't cheating like I am. And that's pretty much our setup. Got to set the overflow belts on the left, this one. And now we just need to go underground and bring the inputs in. So let's get the rubber merged. Go around this side, I think. Doesn't really matter which side we go around. Actually, it does matter because there's a thing here, isn't there? Go around the back then. Oh, no. Because we want to loop it. Oh, man. I'm trying to think which way to loop things around. I'd like it to end... where's a clear spot? Probably here, right? So we want it to go loop around that way. Alright, we'll go that way. So indecisive. We'll get our mergers pointing in this direction. And it'll come around this way, around the outside, and then merge with the rest of the rubber over here. Flip that around the other way. I suppose plastic can do the same but opposite thing, so we'll start it from this side, so we'll go this way. Then it'll go around and loop that way and come in the center roughly at the same spot. So over here, we want it to go this way. All the mergers in. Let's get the belts in. Now we've got to get the belt around here. Center point is here, so we'll get that going up and around into here. Excuse me, you don't want to go in there? What have I done? The input goes there. Oh, have I done all of these backwards, have I? Silly me. I'm gonna go that way. Get that rubber belt around this side. There we go. All the rubber is now merged, and then now we can take that rubber and we can take it out. But before we do, we probably want to put it through a smart splitter. Because we only want the overflow going out. We got the main flow here, and we'll just do the overflow, say, here. I'll get a lift down for the overflow. Off you go. And the right is going to be the overflow. We'll go ahead and do the exact same thing for our plastics. And get a belt going out this way. Get around to the center. Did I use this main line? Yep. hook it into this side, and complete this manifold. And last belt, now we need to do a similar thing as we did here. So a smart splitter over here. Get a belt going into the smart splitter, and get that smart splitter going down into the floor. Just like that. Set that to be the overflow on the left. And now we've got all our overflow plastic and rubber in the subfloor. Fantastic. Now we just need to link it to the belts over there. Let's do that. We're going to probably need to build a bunch of subfloor, but that's not a problem. Say that's not a problem, but we have no subfloor anywhere remotely near here. So we'll start building our subfloor. Not sure where I'm building my subfloor because I can't see anything. There's two of our holes. We definitely need some subfloor over here. And then there's our other two holes over here. Probably need one more subfloor over here. Alright, now we just need to direct these two over to yonder. So we'll go down first because it's mostly a this way's travel. And then we'll come across. So we'll grab a belt that goes out this way. And then a belt that goes out this way. And then we'll get a straight belt coming out here. Not past this line. I think that can almost be directly going in there. So let's just get these belts going then. Get one going straight onto the floor. Get the other going onto the floor, but with a bit of a turn. Get that out straight all the way. Get that one out as well. There's our plastic. There's our rubber. Now we need to get some subfloor over here to make this turn. So it's going to be around here. Let's just stop it there. I know we're wasting valuable subfloor real estate doing this, but whatever. That's going to go into this one. 1, 2. Literally one tile off. That's annoying. I can't do this. You can't reach this, can you? Oh, you can reach this. Nice. Alright, up into the ceiling you go. Why doesn't that look like it's the right line? That's this one. 1, 2. Oh, I'm still one off. Jeez. It's like right on the center, isn't it? Isn't it? Apparently it's like right on the center. 1, 2. So here. Can that reach? Yes. Now we should be in the right spot. And that should be a straight shot into there. Oh, just barely doesn't make it. Okay, same dealios over this side. Then we just get a helper belt over there. And we'll figure out where this needs to end. So like there. 1, 2. And into the sink you go. Fantastic. That's done now. Let's go back up. Repair this floor hole. Now that rubber and plastic should be continually flowing until they hit that sink. We need to get some power over here. So we can just cross with this power line over here. Let's just do our same thing with power towers. Oh, should we do power towers? Nah. Too big for this little project. We'll just get a power pole going across here. Do something like that. There we go. Now our sinks have power. It should be sinking all that plastic and rubber, well, until they finish storing over there. Then it'll sink the rest. And that will keep our residue flowing. And our residue will eventually turn into petroleum coke, which we now have to deal with as well. Now the petroleum coke is mostly going to be turned into diamonds in 3.33 particle accelerators. If we look at the diamond recipe for that, 600 per minute each one does. So basically one belt can support 2. So we need to split this into 2 belts. That doesn't make sense. We're making 2400 petroleum coke. Is this coal? Sorry, this is coal into diamonds. I've got to look at petroleum coke into diamonds. That's the one. 720 per minute. So, oh, that's going to be awkward. It's basically like one Mark 6 belt per each one, right? So 720 is per one. How much does this make? 120. What's 720 into 120? That's 6 exactly. So every 6 needs to be its own thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is like one set. And conveniently, it's already one set. There's definitely nowhere it's going besides underground, right? Unless I take 3 belts out here, but I'm not going to do that. So we'll just take that underground. Then we've got 1, 2, 3 sets again. That will make another belt's worth of stuff. And then we've got 1, hook this up to 3 again, get rid of this. That'll make another belt's worth of stuff. And then finally we've got this one, which will be a 4th belt, but it won't be full, so that will be our 0.331. So maybe we should just do 3, and then we will just do 1 with an extra bit, and we'll just overclock that to 33% extra. That way we don't have to build a 4th particle accelerator. That makes a lot of sense. And now we've got 3 belts to contend with, and the 3 floor holes. Now our particle accelerators will probably just go here somewhere. So I'm just going to bring the belts across here, knowing that we're probably going to build our particle accelerator to turn it into diamonds somewhere here. Let's just go underground and sort that out. We'll need more floor. As a placeholder to this diamond factory, I'm just going to build 3 sinks for now. Just do 1, 2, 3. Then we just put some floor holes in. And they can just go into the sinks for now. And then we'll just power it up however which way. We'll just get a power line that just goes out here for now. And then we'll power up these sinks. And this will be replaced with particle accelerators next episode when we work on some diamonds. But we'll just bring these across the ceiling for now. Why are these the wrong way? 1 second. This is the input. That's the output. Yeah, whoops. So they should be going this way. And then 1 over here. There we go. That's the output. Now we can simply take these and just push it across for now. And then we'll deal with it properly next episode. Got this crazy multi-belt thing going on over here. Bring the 2nd belt. And then we'll bring the 3rd belt. Just like that, nice and easy. Alright, so that should be syncing all of this stuff, and now all our machines should be continuously running. I can see they are starting to get rid of everything. Now, if all our mass is correct, all of this stuff should be continuously running as well. We've got a lot of heavy oil residue, but it's slowly getting rid of it now. It's going to take some time for it to catch up, I think. But in theory, all of that should start continuously running over time. Now we can put up some signage, so we know how much stuff is being produced on every level, because we're definitely going to forget. Probably here is the best place to put the signs. What kind of signs can we use anyway for this? Can we do square signs? That would be the best. Yes, we can. Nice. So we can do a square sign like this, and then we can put the same square sign there, and then just put it above. Nope, won't let me do that. But I can just put it directly underneath it, I guess. That looks silly. I guess I'll just have to do 2 like this. Let's copy the setting over here, and we will tell this one it is rubber. We'll copy the number style over here, and we'll tell it how much rubber we're making, which is currently 600 rubber. Then we're going to go onto this side, and then we're going to do the same thing for plastic. So we'll do a sign here, and we'll do a sign right next to it. Copy that style, and we'll go output is 400. So did I write 600 over here? I'm lying. I'm not making 600. I'm making 400 rubber, 400 plastic. Now we're going to go label my petroleum coke. Sorry, I'm using the wrong background here. Let me fix that up. Now I'm going to go label my petroleum coke because I need to remember how much it's being produced. And I'm not going to remember otherwise. Hey, we can put it here. Is that the right direction? Yeah, it is. That's petroleum coke, and we're making 2400. Should be 0 because they're all being used for diamond. Make all of that to make 100 diamond per minute, I think. This is not very much. That's pretty much done. Now we can just set up our lighting that we were going to do. Hey, look, everything's going green now. I like that. You can see that all of this is being produced at 400 now. Yep, and it's being slowly stored. Great. I'm going to just help it out a little bit. Get rid of some of my inventory. Lighting. Okay. So you should get some flood lighting first. Always got to forget your lighting. I like the idea of floodlight towers, so we'll just center it around here. We'll do like one for each thing. We'll just center it along here. I think that should be fine. I know it clips into the top a little bit, but that's fine. We'll do one on each end of these, and then we'll do one on each end of these. So something like this. Then maybe we'll do a couple on this end. Do one here. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles to the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles. It's something like that. It's nice and even. Do another couple over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles over here. I feel like I'm like a little bit off. Did I do it in between 2 tiles? Yeah, I did, I think. So like here. Alright, let's connect the power to this. And then we can just get the power going through here. Oh. On they go. Look at that. Connect the power on this side as well. And on these ones go. Check out our factory now. That looks pretty sick. What do you guys think? I like that. I like that a lot. It's a nice open factory. Now I'm just wondering if it should have a fence along here. Like a fence is very, very small. A very small, subtle detail that might make it look a little bit better. I feel like fences are like way too small here. I wonder if we should make like a chain link fence of some sort. Like a slightly bigger chain link fence. But then that's a little bit too much. Oh, my game crashed. Thankfully, the autosave wasn't too bad. And I just had to rebuild these lights. But anyway, talking about fences, we should probably get something bigger than a regular fence. So let me rebuild this floor tile here. Let me get my blueprint designer back in. Just put it here for now. Now, I'm just going to put up a couple of walls to give myself like a point of reference of how tall this is going to be. And we're going to build a fence out of pillars, right? That'll be a bit of a thicker fence then. So 3 walls high is a pretty tall fence. We probably want our fence to be 2 walls high. Just build it against this wall, easier to deal with. So that's the height of my fence. And we'll build it in like a section of 2, maybe. Then I want my fence to be like hexagonal, I guess, is probably the best look. So how do we draw a hexagon? Like that. Well, it'll be from the halfway point, right? Up here. Then down to there. Then we do the same thing on this side. Like that. And then it's a nice hexagonal fence. Now I want this hexagonal fence to be tileable. So it'll be from here up the same diagonal. I think it's 6.403 is the magic number. And then we go from the halfway point. How long is this? Let's measure it. That is 7 meters across. So we'll go from here 7 meters across. In theory, that should be 7 meters across. And then we go down 6 point whatever it is. I can't seem to get that snapping point right. So I might have to build this across for a snapping point. Let me use my walls as reference. Shouldn't that be exactly this wall? Because I've been using this as a reference point, right? 1, 2. That's my reference point. So that should come down exactly the same. 6.403. And then from the halfway point here, 6.403. Then across here should be 7 meters. I built this beam in the wrong spot. Let me just put a beam up there. And then from this point, we should get that magical number, 6.403, and that should be 7 meters. Now, coming down from here should be exactly the same thing. I should be able to get that magic number, 6.403. No, wait, what am I doing? Coming down from here should be the exact same number, or up from here, like that. Wait, that's not right, is it? Okay, I've done this wrong. 1 second. To get it tilably hexagonal, we'd have to go from here to like a halfway point, maybe 7 meters. That should be the same. Then that, I'm already regretting this decision, and that should be 7 meters. All right, there's our second hexagon, and then we should be able to take this down to the floor, and then we should be able to go across here 7 meters, and then do a similar thing. This would be a pretty cool fence if I can stack it on top of one another. I'm just trying to figure out what I have to build to make this tileable. I can't build any more this way. I'd have to build up to where this is, right? So say I build it up to here, and then we'd have to complete it off here. Wait, is this thing not 6.403? Oh, that's wrong. That's meant to be here. Okay. I've built it at the wrong angle. Let me start this again. Okay, I think I've built it such that it's tileable. In theory, this end should connect to that, and that looks pretty tileable. So this is a pretty cool looking fence. It's like nice and futuristic. I'm thinking about putting lighting on it. I don't think we should. I think it's a bit too much if we put light. Like, we can put lighting along the inside, and it's just gonna be too bright, right? Yeah. We should paint it a little bit of a different color because it's a little bit black looking. Maybe we should give it a chrome finish. So it's like a nice gray fence. All right, I'm going to dismantle this, and then we're going to see what that fence looks like. Pretty cool looking fence though. So just put it in essentials, I guess. Call it a fence. And let's try it out. It's either going to look really cool or really terrible. It'll be something like this. And then how's that line up? Like there? And we'll have to like finish the corner off manually. I'm just gonna build one and finish the corner off manually, because otherwise, like, I think the corner is gonna be the main problem. But yeah, that looks pretty sick. Look at that. It's like shiny as well. Oh man, I think I like this. So we'll do the corner here manually. We're gonna have to do something about this power, but that's fine. Be something like this. Just gotta make sure it's lined up here, and that this is not sticking out too much. Like that probably. And then we'll finish off this corner manually. Come on, snap to here. Like that. That looks pretty sick. Why does this hate being here? Where's my magic 6 point whatever number gone? I'm trying to get that same angle here. That should be fine. Are these two not lined up properly? Yeah, they're not lined up properly. Hold on. This one's like above ground, and then when I turn it, it's like underground. That's so weird. Is it? Or am I just tripping? Oh, what am I doing to myself? This fence is so finicky. Well, we might need to implement a fence corner of some sort. Or we can just manually build the corners, it's fine. Or they can just touch in the corner. What am I doing? Why am I overcomplicating this? If I get it to go into the corner, like this, then they can just touch, right? Like that. There we go. And then we can finish it with like a big straight pole, if we wanted to. That looks pretty sick. What do we think of that? Probably needs a chrome finish. That black bit doesn't have... Wait, what? Why is this chrome finish different to this chrome finish? It's not. I'm just tripping. Alright, cool. You still can't finish these things with anything. For some reason, they just don't get customized. But let's see if there's tiles now, more importantly. What if I did it in blueprint mode? No. Doesn't. Blueprint mode, definitely not. but I can control snap it and then just shift it into place. And that tiles perfectly. And now we've got a fence. A very futuristic looking fence. What do you guys think of that? That looks pretty cool. I feel like it needs a half control snap in at some points. But let's not work with half control snapping points. I know this part isn't perfect, but it's barely noticeable. And that's just going to be, like, unless we manually build the whole fence, it's just going to be an issue, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah, that looks nice. Of course, we need to manually sort out this stuff. Somehow this finished perfectly. Just have to manually sort out the corners. But what do we think of that fence? That looks pretty sick to me. Let's continue it on this side as well. Need to join it here somewhere. And here. Is it meant to go one in? No, it's not. Ugh. I'm gonna have to delete a lot of stuff here. No, I can't nudge the fence over. I don't want to manually build stuff. Ah, it just barely made it. Nice. Cool, we'll do this back wall first. So we get rid of that part. And then we need this. Fence is a little bit tricky to build. But we should be able to figure out where this point and this point meet. Which is around here. Why is this going into the ground again? We don't want it into the ground. We want it here. And we want it like here. I feel like it's gone into the ground again, hasn't it? Is that the right height? That's the right height. When I shift this, it goes diagonally into the ground. Okay, that's hilarious. So I got to get it right on this foundation off the get-go. So I'm going to put down another row of foundation just out here. I thought we were finished, and now we're faffing about with a fence for like an hour. That's great. But the fence looks awesome. I really like this hexagonal fence. Okay, so we can't shift it, otherwise it goes weird, but we can shift it this way. And if we do that, it should link perfectly around the corner. I'm going to have to do anything with it. Get rid of this excess bit. And there you go. That links nice and perfectly on the corner. Now we can do all the corners with the painted beam as we normally do to get rid of the corner itself. So something like that. That. Give it a chrome finish. That looks nice. And then we'll just continue the fence out this way. That shouldn't be a problem. You can just hit control. Or I think I've got it the wrong way. This way. Control. Oh, the radiation's a bit annoying. There we go. That looks right. There. And there. Why isn't this perfectly aligned here? That's weird. Unless it is perfectly aligned along here. Ah, but then this one has a bit of a pillar thing going on over here as well. So we might need to do something funky here. It definitely needs to follow along, but it's just going to clip into the pillar a little bit. It's a little bit unfortunate, but not much I can do about it. Can I shift the pillar in one? No, I can't. I probably could, but it's a lot of work involved and I'm not going to. I'll build the thing over here and then we'll just meet the fence wherever it meets. Which section is that? I'm trying to figure out where this meets this. Is it that? I think it's that. That shifted without going down. Okay. There's our diagonal. We'll put a painted beam in there to hide everything. Okay, I think I made this one off. Hope I've done this correctly when they meet all at the end. So we'll go one more out. And then we'll get rid of these painted beams. Yeah, there we go. Now it meets perfectly. We'll get a beam up the top and get that turned. Get a couple of beam connectors there and there. Actually looks better without the thing, doesn't it? It's just here looks a little bit awkward. We'll just chuck a beam connector here. We'll keep consistent. Give that a chrome finish as well. Now it's looking okay. We'll get more fence here. Now that should just follow the blueprint, hopefully. Is this height wrong again? No, that looks correct. One more over here. And then we just got to close it off like such. And then by some miracle, this will all be perfectly aligned. I like this fence. Some genius came up with this fence. All right, we're almost perfectly aligned. It's going to be good enough. Just put a thing over here and then we'll just call it a day. There's probably some shifting somewhere along the way that makes this look a bit weird, but hey, we almost got it perfect. It actually makes the perfect correct shape all the way around. Fantastic. Now we probably want an opening to this factory at some point. And where makes sense to enter this factory from? There's no real space for like an entrance to the factory, unfortunately. Unless it's like over here somewhere. So we'll just leave it. We'll just leave the fence. I think the fence really adds to this area. It looks pretty sick. What do you guys think of the fence? I think that looks cool. I think that looks cool. Now we've got to sort out the fence around this tower. Or get rid of this tower. We can just get rid of part of the fence that's intercepting through the tower, like that. There we go. That looks fine. And yeah, overall that looks pretty sick. I like this fence because it's obviously a lot more defined than our usual fence, so it kind of segregates this area a lot better. And overall I'm pretty happy with this factory. And we've got plenty of room upstairs to build more sections of this factory one day when we're needed. And everything here is green, which is fantastic, except for this for some reason. Because we have not enough heavy oil residue, because why? We have not quite enough crude oil for some weird reason. What is going on? I have no idea. Everything is almost green. We're almost hitting our production stats, but probably not quite. So we might be a little bit under for diamonds if we're not getting enough crude oil here. There's just like some crude oil stuck in the pipes or something. I don't know. But yeah, pretty close. Everything seems to be mostly green. We're getting a little bit of discrepancy with the crude oil. It's very close, but just like not quite. If we look at our water tower, let's have a look. Is the pump just not good enough? No, this says 600. I think it's just like minor pipe mechanic stuff. Yeah, and says it's flowing at 600, but then every now and then I guess it dips like a tiny amount for whatever reason. Well, that's not my fault because I am definitely oversupplying everything, but everything looks like it's working nicely. Alright, next episode we're going to be making the diamonds out of this petroleum stuff, and then we're going to continue with our pathway of trying to make, I don't know what were we trying to make, I've already forgotten, but we needed the rubber for some reason, so we're going to use the rubber to make whatever it is that we were going to make. I think we're going to try to make crystal oscillators or something like that, so we'll do that next episode. But as for this episode, check it out. We've got a cool little fence, we've got a petroleum production area for our rubber and plastic done, and we've got some bonus diamonds out of the whole equation. So pretty happy with that. If you've enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.